Hey, it's Glue here with something a little bit different. I love roguelites. It's no secret, I breathe them, I eat them, I live off of them. It's always been the genre or buzzword that instantly makes me interested in something regardless if it's good or not. Now, as the title suggests, this video is about Tainted Lost, but before we can go straight into talking about Tainted Lost from good old Binding of Isaac, we're going to need to take a look at the genre of roguelites as a whole. You can't understand the example if you don't understand what it is an example of. I've already talked about what makes a roguelite, somewhat, but I never went over why. Why do we play these games? What is the appeal? Is it the difficulty? The replayability? The knowledge? The planning? Or maybe it's something more specific, you know, item combinations, the character, the world and story. Maybe it's that constant uphill struggle where you have to fight for that win as you climb up what seems to be like an insurmountable obstacle. Or perhaps it's being perched upon the top of the mountain so comfortably you literally don't have to play the game anymore. Obviously, it's going to be different for everyone, however, I believe that most, if not all of these appeals lead to a singular idea. The reason we read the wikis, run after run, greed for the item we really shouldn't have greeded for, develop an unhealthy hatred for that one boss that always ends your run at that one spot on that one map. All of this, we do simply to master the game. To wholly understand the game and to be able to solve any situation. To understand the perfect amount of risk for the perfect amount of reward. That is why we play these games. Probably. I don't know. I can't speak for the one guy who, you know, plays them to be a car or, you know, a car. You get the point. Mastering the game is tight. Now, with that out of the way, what if I told you that in a small little game you may or may not have heard of, there exists a character that manifests this very goal? I am, of course, I'm talking about Tainted Lost. Tainted Lost. I don't know why I did that, but, you know. Alright, cool, you know, nice, awesome. What does he mean by that? What do I mean by this? How does a character embody mastering a game? Well, let's go over the character to get a better understanding. Looking at this character statistically, you might not notice anything at all. Slightly above average stats and damage multiplier. You might think this dude's a square, but in-game, you'll notice a lot more than just stats. Firstly, Tainted Lost, similar to regular Lost, possesses flight and spectral tiers, allowing you to hide and move around easier. But why hide? Because, once again, similar to regular Lost, you don't have health. You get hit and you're dead. Yeah, that sucks, and it's gonna suck even more because this is where similarities end. Unlike regular Lost, you don't have a built-in Holy Mantle. This means you don't get that rechargeable shield every room. You can't get hit twice in the same room. Instead, your tainted ass has to rely on a little something called Holy Cards. They give you a single charge of Holy Mantle. Oh, you know, can't win them all, but you know what, that's okay, because they drop more frequently, at least allegedly. That being said, why would you ever play this character? Just because a character is stupidly difficult doesn't mean they're a well-designed character, let alone fun. You're right. Thankfully, it doesn't end there for good old Tainted Lost, as we haven't even talked about their most interesting quirk. Better items. This term better items actually kind of sucks at explaining what it does for Tainted Lost, but what it actually does is eliminate all useless items for Tainted Lost, such as health ups, items that activate upon getting hit, or items that hurt yourself. However, some of these useless items are actually really not that useless. Many defensive items, such as extra lives or the aforementioned Holy Mantle, are not available, since Edmund and Kilburn have decided they are useless. Again, it's not my choice, just what they did, alright? So, to summarize what we've gone through, we've got a super risky character that can ramp up very quickly in strength. The only problem is you can only get hit at the very least once. This constant extreme risk in reward is why I believe this character embodies the spirit of the roguelite genre. It doesn't matter how strong you are, your run can end at any single moment if you aren't paying attention, which is sadistic, to say the least. Now that we've gone over the character, we can discuss the correlation a bit more specifically through examples. If we dive more deeply into the different situations this character uniquely gets placed into, it'll become a little bit more obvious, right? It's a no-brainer only getting hit twice in a run makes the execution barrier even harder. However, if you want to optimize your chances later on, it's actually better to hold off using that holy card until later, as there are a good chunk of ways to potentially make that card way more valuable. So, if you want to get rewarded, you better play risky. You know, you see what I'm doing? It's like I'm doing a throwback, right? I'm doing a callback. This next example is going to get kind of crazy. There's going to be a lot of jargon thrown around, so I'll do my best to try to explain it, but strap the fuck in. Challenge rooms. I'm talking boss rooms specifically. For those who don't know, there are two types of challenge rooms. There are regular challenge rooms where to enter you'll have to have a greater than or equal amount of hearts to your heart container. Just, you know, just fancy for full HP. Inside, there will usually be a random amount of chests and, you know, whatever. And when you pick them up, you'll have to fight 3 waves of random enemies. Now with the boss challenge rooms, you'll need 1 heart to enter. What awaits you inside is a random boss item, as well as having to fight 2 bosses if you want to pick it up. So, why go for it? Well, other than being a free item, you have to remember that Tainted Lost has better items, so no pesky health ups. Oh, what's that? Most of the boss room item pool are health ups? If I go there with Tainted Lost, I'll be more likely to be getting an item that benefits me and allows me to become stronger? Oh, that's great, you know, but you still gotta fight the 2 bosses though, which have the potential to be total fucking jagoffs, right? That being said though, who knows if that tiny bit of stats will help you? Which is why you go for it all the time. Do it for the reward, fuck the risk. Always greed. Man, I wish I could get those boss challenge rooms every floor. What is that? You can? Yup, you sure can. The way challenge rooms work is that their generation is based off the floor that you're on. So, if it ends with a 1, you're gonna get a regular challenge room. If it ends with a 2, you get a boss room. So, using the alternative harder floors, it is possible to maximize your boss challenge rooms. Then again, you're gonna have to go through the alternative floors, which are not only way harder, but those bosses you have to fight can be some of the most colossal dickheads in the world. It gets better, because if you don't get hit for 3 floors, you get a little trinket called Perfection. It gives you a flat 10 luck only going away if you get hit. Seeing as you can't get hit unless you have an extra life somehow, this is a permanent plus 10 luck if you can live for at least 3 floors. Which means you'll be getting better drops for the rest of the run, as well as more importantly being able to abuse luck-based items for more damage. And it's just this fine-tuned test of everything Isaac and more importantly roguelites. To master a game is to understand it, to know how much risk and how much reward. And you only know how much through knowledge, experience, and execution. It's all connected, it's just this well-oiled machine. Does this mean every roguelite should have a character like this? Absolutely not, simply because it doesn't work for every game. I mean, can you imagine playing a game like Nuclear Throne and being at the very end of a run and only being able to get hit twice, ever? Yeah, it might work, but not to the same degree as Tainted Lost in my opinion. Again, this is for the best. Not every roguelite experience has to be 100 pure concentrate of the genre death march. No, some people just want to have, you know, play a more relaxing character. Maybe one that requires some more thinking instead of execution. Or maybe just play a character that is so good it is literally impossible to lose. You know, Tainted Lost isn't even my favorite character in Isaac, but I understand how much this character represents. To understand the workings of this character is to understand the game. If you understand the game, well then you're only a couple steps away from understanding the genre. The more you understand the genre, the more you can appreciate it. The more you appreciate it, the more you can love it. The more you love it, the more you can hate it. The more you hate it, the more you can play it. The more you play it, the more you can buy it. The more you buy it, the more less money you have. Less money you have, the less... That's the end of the video. Hey, thanks for making it this far. It means a lot to me. This video is a sort of personal project, a kind of love letter to the genre that I love so much. So, you know, once again, I thank you for making it this far. It really means a lot. Now, obviously, I believe that, you know, Tainted Lost is epitome of the genre or whatever, but what do you guys think? Do you guys have another character or scenario or game that does the genre more justice? Hey, let me know, because I'm always looking for more excuses to play more of these fucking games. Anyways, for making it this far, all the way to the end, here's your funny reward for this video. Here's a clip of me screaming, I guess, alright? Take care.
Grab it, I'm watching tons.
Okay, you got it, sir.
Cut yourself.
Woo!
I got you. Play at the bottom. Play at the bottom.